Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Here's part 2 to that video I did yesterday about communism and about this sort of hippie-trippy going off to the wilderness sort of ideology. First, before we get into this, of course, as usual, you can find the links on my social media pages on my PayPal in the description. And also, I wanted to show you something here. Real quickly before we... Oh, that's my fucking plant, by the way. Real quickly before we get into this. Look at this. Here's some proof to you that the book is underway. Skybound. I've been working on it now for about 3 days, so getting close to being into chapter 2. Get this page done, and then it's off to chapter 2. So, yeah. Just want to show you that there, and using my old $10 keyboard from Walmart to write it. You know, funny enough, this thing, it's not backlit. So I can't really, I like to write in the dark, you know. Can't do that though because it's not backlit. So it's kind of it can be a pet problem sometimes because I have to write with these fluorescent lights on up here that are a pain in my ass. They're so fucking bright that it blinds you when you turn them on at night. But I want to upgrade to a backlit, but like this thing actually works very good for the price. For like $10, some off-brand, just rinky-dink keyboard. Just plug and play. And it's like, it's awesome, dude. And for what it is, it's a mechanical keyboard for $10, dude. You can't beat it. Just doesn't have the backlights, and it doesn't feel as clicky like other mechanical keyboards do. It's kind of spongy, because I mean it's fucking $10. What you expect? But you know, it's a good ass keyboard for what it is. But let's talk about do that part 2. There are a few things in that video that I in part 1 over there that I messed up on. There are things that I really didn't get to go into detail about because of time constraints. Again, I just don't have time to go into full detail about some of these things. And I want to go into more detail about why such a small-scale communist thing would work if you had 40 people. I'm not a communist by any means. I do not support Karl Marx. I think he's a fucking scumbag. His idea was that communism could work on a major population, you know. It could work in some place like America where there's several million people. You know, it's just not going to work like that. In order for communism to work, you have to have a small population of very, very like-minded people. You have to be in a setting where it's sort of like you have to be in an anarcho-communist commune or something. You sound like Slab City. If you look at Slab City, everybody's got the same ideas. They all kind of think the same, you know. They're very like-minded. There's not a chance they'll ever get in an argument, so they're very willing to work with one another. You don't want to... Why would you want to help somebody out that disagrees with you and thinks you're stupid, you know? Like one of my haters or something, you know, on YouTube or Instagram or wherever else. One of my haters or something. Oh, you fucking retard. Okay, he calls me a fucking retard. Why would I want to help him with anything? Well, the fuck would I want to help him with anything if he ain't got nothing to pay me? But if it's your friends or your family, if you're one of these type of people and you can relate to me, I would do anything for my uncle, one of my uncles, you know. He lives just up the road from me. He called me and told me his pipes were leaking. I'd go up there and fix them for him for nothing. Because he's friendly. We're like-minded to one another to a certain extent. Not on all things. He's slightly homophobic and I'm gay, so it's kind of a bad situation there. But he, you know, he don't have any disrespect toward me. It's just he's got these weird religious views. But, he don't ever say nothing to me, and yes, he does on gay, but he doesn't ever say anything to me when I come around. He's just like, oh, hey, Logan, how you doing? So he treats me with respect. He got nothing bad to say about me or to me. So why would I have anything bad to say to him? Why wouldn't I help him out? It would be assholish of me to say, okay, pay me up, $15, bitch. Okay, that would be pretty rude, you know, after he's treated me with respect and stuff like that. Now, if you were living off in the woods... with a bunch of people that are really like-minded to you that you're like best friends with or something, then it works because you're willing to help one another out for no payback, for nothing in return, in most cases. I don't care if my buddy Steven borrows my Xbox, you know, because I know him well enough to know he's going to take care of it. In communism, everything is publicly owned. Meaning, this thing's unplugged. I can show you this. The old PS3 here, right? George Foreman fucking grill. Slim model right here, bitches. One of my favorite consoles to this day, even though it's not the most powerful thing. Still, I like the design of it. Just the design is one of my favorites. But Mr. George Foreman here, I can hand this off to Steven. Because I know Steven is going to take care of it. He's a tech head. He's going to take care of it. So if you got this anarcho-communist society full of all these people that are very like-minded to you, and they're in small numbers too, you can, and you know them well enough to know that you can trust them with stuff like that, of course you wouldn't mind letting them borrow. Hey, you care if I borrow your Xbox to play it? Oh sure, here, fucking take it. This is a publicly owned Xbox. Because the public within this society I've developed is just like me. So here, go ahead and fucking take it. I know you're going to take care of it. That's why it works on a small scale. But why it won't work on a large scale, there's more reasons why it doesn't work than just this. But communism, when you inflate this ideology to a large scale, it fucking fails for a number of reasons. And number one being that which I just said there. When you don't know somebody, whether you like them or not, initially, you don't know them. You don't know how they take care of things, you know. Some people fucking drop their phones every time they pick them up like Butterfingers because they don't give a crap about them. They don't care about anything. They don't take care of shit. They can barely manage their own fucking lives, you know. Some people are on drugs. Some people don't. Some people are very responsible. So when you meet a stranger for the first time, you don't know what they're going to act like. And the majority of people in this society are strangers to you. I don't care what you say. The majority of people are strangers. You have not met all 3 million or so people, however many people are in the U.S. You have not met them. So if you try to make communism work in the U.S. where nobody knows hardly anybody, I mean, you know people, but it's like your circle of friends, you know? You got your 10 or 15 friends or something like that. Or if you're like me, you got 1 or fucking 2 that you're really, really good friends with. You have a kinship with, a bond with, and you've only got 2 of them. Okay? But if you got like 15 friends, you got your circle of friends, you got your clique group, that's probably all the only people you hang out with. Hey, come on over, Jerry, let's have a barbecue. Bring your friends over, you know. Listen, we all get along, let's hang out. They come over, you trust them, you know them. That's it, that's who you know. You cannot possibly know everybody in the U.S., and if you don't know somebody to the T, why would you trust them with your stuff? Oh, here's this antique mug that I have. You know, I don't have a mug in my hands, but just use your imagination. Here's this antique mug that I've got. It's a collector's item from the 1700s. It was passed down from my French family from way back when. This thing survived the French Revolution and Napoleon Bonaparte and all this amazing shit. And here it is, right here, antique mug. Would you give that to somebody you did not know? If they walked into your house and said, can I use that mug to drink some beer? Would you fucking let them? No! Would you let your brother? Possibly. Would you let your best friend? Probably. Your best friend came in, hey man, care if I have a drink? Ah, sure, take the fucking mug, why not? Because you know him very well. You've been around him for a long time, you know him. So that's the type of anarcho-communist society I was talking about. You can go out in the woods and make that work if it's with people if it's really, really small scale, and it's with a handful of friends that you know very well, and you know you can trust with your stuff, and they know they can trust you with their stuff, and you all work together, and it's sort of this, it's sort of like a family setting, really. It sort of goes beyond communism, and in a way, it's like a, it's strange. You can't really have a 100% communist society anyway because of human nature. It's just impossible. Primitive communism doesn't exist. It never has, never will, and obviously because history's bygone, it never has. So there's no chance it ever will. And it's in our nature. We don't like to share shit. We like to have personal ownership over stuff. So even in these anarcho-communist communes, you go up to these hippie communes like Poole's Landing. I think that's the name still. I haven't double-checked. I believe it is though. Poole's Landing or Slab City. They all have personal ownership. When you go in their house, they got some knickknacks in there that they don't want you touching. But this other stuff you can touch. So it's weird. It's like if I went off in the woods right now and started the commune, it would be a sort of hybridized system. It'd be like a combination of different systems, you know, just kind of working together with each other. It'd be like communism and capitalism mixed with elements of socialism. It'd be like the big 3 of the Victorian era. The big 3 ideologies of the Victorian era working together. By the way, this is off topic, but I think I'm going to start filming more during the daytime. I just like the way the lighting hits my face better during the day. And hits me in general better. It just looks nicer than me sitting in the dark. And you can see the room, too, behind me. It's nicer. I think I'm going to start filming during the day a lot more. until I can get a better lighting instead of just my TV on a white screen. But anyway, back on topic. You know what I mean? It would end up being a hybrid system because of human nature, but it does work though. That shows that elements of communism do work on a small scale and in a very limited capacity with people you know very well. Which means communism cannot possibly work on a large scale for a country like America. For people, it does not work in any country if it's over a population of 40 people. It would not even work for Monaco. It would not work. That's why communism would fail. And these two videos are sort of an in-depth analysis of why communism does not work on a large scale, and also why it's something you should not reject entirely. Because, you know, I look at all sides. I'm not a partisan in any form or fashion. I'm not biased in any way. When I look at the news, I don't look when I'm looking at the news. I don't just read Fox. I don't just go on Breitbart. I go on different places. I go to get different people's opinions. When I'm going to look at the same deal with political ideologies, I don't just side with the group and say fuck the rest of them, because every side's got something to offer. It's like religion. There's good things about Christianity, but the religion on a whole, when you take it literally, kills millions. It's like communism. When applied, it kills millions. But there's elements there that work. There's elements, small, minute fucking elements, mind you, but they work, and they are elements that work. And if you look at Christianity, the moral aspects, like honor thy father and mother, that is, unless they're assholes. The golden rule, you know, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That is something that a lot of people could live by. Oh, and live a quiet life and mind your own business is in the Bible as well. All this stuff, these moral codes and things like that. And the Bible's diet is pretty healthy too, like staying away from pork and certain types of meat and eating very clean meat and fish. You can follow that and be a pretty healthy person. I mean, some of the stuff in the Bible is kick-ass, but the other stuff fucking sucks. Leave your moral shit out of it. Leave the religious cult-like shit out of it, like stone the gays, and any man that dresses like a woman gets burned at the stake. This dude over here that fucking does alchemy in his basement, mixing chemicals and shit to make a serum that'll cure fucking AIDS, you know, whatever, you know, let's burn him on the stake. You know what I mean? There's no serum that can cure AIDS right now. I'm just saying, like, for example, you got this dude curing a disease with the serum, they label him a witch and they burn him to death. Label anybody a witch that's not a Christian. It's bullshit. But when you strip all that out, when you strip all the facade, when you strip the shit away from it, you scrape the feces off the wall, what are you left with? You're left with the Bible diet, you're left with honor thy father and mother, you're left with live a quiet life and mind your own business, so on and so forth. You're left with good things. If you strip the shit and scrape the feces off of the wall that is communism, you're left with good things. Like the idea of sharing with one another and helping each other out for the idea of having no monetary gain in return is a good thing. Can it be applied to many people? I don't think so. I don't know about that. It's been tried. It's failed. Can it be applied to a group of friends living in the forest? Yes. I just explained why. Yes, that can work. But it cannot work on a massive scale, and it's essentially, that's just in human nature. We want something in return for our work. And we have the ideas of personal ownership over things. This bowl is mine. You can't have it. That's human nature. I found this bowl in the woods. I take ownership of it. It makes no fucking sense why we do that, because it's just a bowl. If it breaks, you can get a new one, or you can make a new one out of some pond clay. It doesn't fucking matter. You can just make a new one, dude. But that's human nature, right? This bowl, take it. I cut your head off. That's human nature. Touch me, you're dead. That's essentially human nature, right there. This is mine. It's not yours. If you touch it, I will kill you. And it was beneficial to our survival back in the day, but we don't necessarily have to have those mechanisms anymore. They just remain from the days that we were in that survival sort of state. And in today's world, when you have this modern society where you can just go to the grocery store and get anything you'd ever wanted, it's really, or go on Amazon.com and find anything you'd ever wanted for a low price, you know, it's not really necessary to have these traits to that full extent anymore. It's good to have them. Your government ever collapses, it's good to have these traits and have that mentality still around. You know, government goes to shit. well, I gotta hoard up as much shit as possible to survive. It's good then, but in today's society, you can cut back on it a little, and you could if it wasn't for human nature. But I think there's ways we can weasel these other elements of communism in there too, and sort of have something that works. If you mix these together, fuck socialism altogether because it's a bunch of shit, and fuck most of communism. I'm essentially talking about the idea of some things being publicly owned. I think would benefit us a lot. I don't mean government owned, because that's not publicly owned. I mean nobody owns it. It's just open free land. Like I said, national parks owned by the government. What would essentially happen too is if you did that, it would eventually create a system out of it anyway. And it might end up being something better than what we've got now. Think about this. The government's like, this is my land, don't touch it. This is the national park, it's protected. People still go out there and poach. People still go out there and cut fucking trees illegally. Okay, well guess what happens? You do away with that and you say, okay, it's open free land. Then everybody's whacking at trees and fucking shit up. Here comes the hit squad. Guys are like, don't touch the fucking land. It's not ours either. But we're going to protect it, you know, because somebody's got to protect it. And there you go. It sets up a system where the hit squad's out there protecting the land. And it's like, this national park's protected land. Cut down a tree, I shoot you. It may sound scary, but it's not really that scary, you know. You gotta have such a thing, or else human greed will kick in and they'll be like, there's nobody watching. I'm gonna go cut the tree down and poach this animal, sell its fur online, or sell its fur in Africa for fucking 15 grand. You know, that's human greed kicking in. You gotta have a way to safeguard against that, you know. If you can't safeguard against that, you'll have no forest left. The entire earth will be a barren wasteland. So there's elements of communism we can implement into our modern day society, but not economically. It's more of a cultural thing. If you implement economic communism, oh, you've just fucked yourself into oblivion. And that's not necessarily what I was talking about in this video. I've been talking in these past two. I don't want you to get mistaken and think I'm talking about that. I'm mostly talking about cultural communism, the culture behind it, the idea that everything can be shared and shared alike, you know. It's not a bad mentality to have, but when applied to an economic stance and the government sitting there telling you you have to do things that way, then it fucks up. But I think we should have a hybrid system for, like, in my ideal world, every capitalist-built town would have a little anarcho-communist hub out here in the wilderness, you know. You'd have something like that. That would be I'd like to see something like that. I think it'd be very interesting to see that work. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about here. Get this uploaded, and I want to upload a video about, oh shit, I can't remember what the fuck I was going to talk about. Oh yeah, why democracy leads to authoritarianism. I mean, this is pretty obvious when you, oh, democracy's the way of the West. No, we need a better way, because democracy is a piece of shit. So is representative democracy, by the way. Always leads to oligarchy, but I'm going to talk about that in the next video. Get this one uploaded, and I'm signing off. See you later.